back. Snake River Fly tying session tonight. We're going to do a stonefly nymph. I'm sure everybody has their favorite stonefly pattern. We've got the salmon fly hatch coming up here pretty quick. So we want to all have a good salmon fly on the end of our line. Tonight we're going to do one with some new materials available at Snake River Fly called Big Cat Scat. A traditional pattern done with rubber legs and chenille, but it does add a twist, a lot of these micro legs and so on. The hook that I'm going to use for this is a Dairiki 700B and a size 2. You can also do a size 4 or 6 to your liking, but this chenille is very large and it does need a large hook if you're going to use the Big Cat Scat or the Bear Scat. Both available at Snake River Fly. My favorite is the Black Panther. These chenilles are variegated. They also change in color as they work up through the chenille. We have snow leopard, Bengal tiger, and some other ones, so you can select a certain portion of that chenille and get a different effect through the body of the fly and change the color of the body as you work up. All right. The thread that I'm going to use is Flymaster Plus and 140. 210 would also work. We'll start the thread on the hook. And we'll add some lead wire to the middle section right around that bend that we've got there. This hook is nice because it puts a natural bend into your pattern. Most stoneflies, when they're tumbling, they bend a little bit. I'm going to tie this lead in up about halfway between the eye and that first bend on the side, and then I'm going to wrap that wire right down the side, covering about that equal distance in front of the bend and behind it. Bring my thread down here and leave it. I'm using 035 lead wire. That's the biggest size that I will use in a fly. 030 or 025 will certainly work if you're using a smaller hook size. And I just want that lead wire right there centered around that bend in the hook. Okay, put a few thread wraps through that to try to tie down that leading end. It's pretty big blunt into that. We don't want to break there. And then I'm going to run my thread to the rear of the fly, put down a little thread base. Stop there. Then I'm going to tie in some rubber legs. You can use flex floss. Spirit River or Hairline has their classic flex floss. You can use medium round rubber. What I'm going to use is flex floss that has some bars in it for my tail, my antenna, and all the legs. So I'm going to take and fold that rubber leg in half, pinch, get a little tip there, tie that in. Pull straight back on both of those ends of the rubber leg until that's where I want it, and I'll let go and I should get a nice split. At this time I'm going to tie in both my body materials. And I've got the Big Cat Scat here in Black Panther. You can see the color variation as you work through the chenille. There's also a lot of black variegated segments to it. So you want to select which color you want in the rear end of your fly and which color you would like up towards the thorax. I'm going to start the bug with a lighter rear. So I'm going to cut off right there into that brighter portion, strip off a bunch of the loose fibers till I can see my tags there, tie down about 1 centimeter. It is a big bulky chenille. You want to wrap right back into that chenille. And then I'm going to tie in the other fiber. Cut this so it's a little bit more reasonable to work with here. The other fiber that we're going to use is a proprietary fiber from Snake River Fly. Provides a lot of lifelike legs and action to the bug. Very thin hackle here in kind of a glossy silver color. Wide application of uses, but we're going to create some extra flair to the bug using this stuff. So I'll take one end of that. Most of the fibers come off of one side. You do have a flat side, which is a good way to tie bugs, with that flat side down. So I'll attach that on the hook, tie down about 1 centimeter of that. Once I've got that tied in my tail, I can advance my thread up to where I'm going to tie in my remaining rubber legs. Putting a little thread jump there, so when we wrap the chenille, it's not doesn't have trouble there. Okay, I like to center the 3 sets of legs here. One, if my bend is here, I'm going to put 1 set here, 1 set right on the bend, and 1 set equal distance above the bend. I like those rubber legs to run straight across the fly, flat, and we'll get to make some small corrections at the end. If one of them is being a little bit weird, usually the chenille will take over and correct that. Got a little bit of a cold, so if I sound funky, sorry. Okay, this chenille is really thick, and a lot of times I'm only wrapping it once in between the rubber legs. You can adjust your gaps accordingly, and sometimes get 2. I'm just going to tie on that second set of legs, and I'll show you what it looks like on the top where I'm tying those legs on. And we got one more set. When you connect with that rubber leg, you want to do it right on top of the hook. And usually it doesn't take a whole lot of wraps to wrap those rubber legs down if you're effective at getting your thread to connect right where you want to on top. Put a couple figure 8s on there and advance your thread all the way to the front, behind the eye. And then I'm going to add in the antenna by taking my rubber leg, fold it in half, get that right on top so it sticks out over the eye. Give those some wraps, make sure that's secured. Alright, we're going to leave the thread there and bring up both of our materials. I've done this 2 different ways, but I find it's a little bit quicker if you wrap them both at once. You don't need every fiber that's on the leggy material to pop out. We just want some of them, but I do want to wrap it so that I don't see that under wrap. As I'm wrapping it, I can kind of pull some of those fibers out. Don't think about the leggy material so much. It's gonna just wrap and fibers will pop out. I'm going to do one more wrap behind the first set of rubber legs. And then I'll take and jump into that first set of legs. Usually do that on the underneath side of the fly. I'll advance the materials. Start to get a lot of legs going. So I want to advance that chenille through the next set of legs. And then I can come in front of the last set. pulling on those micro legs and get them to flare out of there. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of them. You don't need them all to pop up. If you want to wrap each chenille separately, you can do that. And I'm going to tie off right behind the eye. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a lifelike buggy effect. Lots of action. We've come up with a couple different names for this fly. If you got any good suggestions, let us know. A lot of action, hopefully, in the vid. You can see all those extra fibers sticking out of there. Good size stone for our western rivers, using the big cat scat. Once again, thanks for watching a Snake River Fly. This here's the neckbeard stone, and we will see you on our website or on YouTube. Thanks for watching.